Edexcel, IGCSE, and it's from which year? I've seen it somewhere. Pretty certain. What year is it? Well, I'll put the year in the title when I 2022. You can see it at the top. Yeah, it's 2022. Okay, so we'll start again. Edexcel IGCSE 2022, paper 1 in the higher. And there's 2 papers in this. This is paper 1. So you've got a formula sheet with various bits in. Need to remember what's in here. Okay, so I've had a little look, so when they come up I can refer back to them. Right, so the first one. Simplify a to the power 7 times a to the power 4. And it's written like that. You add the powers, so it's a to the power 11. Next one, simplify W15 divided by W cubed. And when it's divide, we subtract. So it's W to the power 12. This one, when it's like this, it's 8x5y cubed squared. So we've got to multiply it by 8x5y cubed. So we go through and we look at the numbers first. 64. Then the x's. X to the 5 times x to the 5 is x to the 10. And then we'll do the y's. Y cubed times y cubed is y to the 6. Okay. Next one. Make t the subject of c equals t cubed minus 8v. So what we do here, we want to make t the, so let's see what happens to t. And that helps us make t the subject. The first thing we do is we cube it. And the next thing we do is we subtract 8v, and then out comes c. So to get c, we do t, cube it, and then take away 8v. So we're going to work backwards. Start with c, then we add 8v, and then we take the cube root, and that will come t. So t is equals to c plus 8v cube root. Okay. There's another way of doing it as well. If we write it as t cubed minus 8v equals c, and that's because if it's t there, we actually want a t equals at the end. So we can start by putting the t on the left hand side. So add 8v to each side to undo take away 8v, and then take the cube root. Okay, so it's the same answer. Put both ways in because I know some people are taught one way and some people are taught the other. Daniel, Gabrielle and Hadley share some money in the ratios 3 to 5 to 9. Okay, so that's the order there. The difference between the amount of money that Gabrielle receives and the amount that Hadley receives is €196. So what's that one? Gabrielle and Hadley. So the difference, so in the ratio, if you just put the money in, it would have been cancelled down to this 3 to 5 to 9. But so we can say the difference here, 4 ratio shares, if you like. 4 ratio shares, because that's 9 take away 5, is €196. So 1 ratio share, oh God, just call it share, save a bit of writing. 1 share is 196 divided by 4, which is €49. And so Daniel gets 3 shares. So 3 times 49 is 147. Okay. We'll have a calculator for this one. Calculators may be used. Have I got one? I haven't got one in front of me. I'm just going to go get my calculator because this next question I'm going to talk and get my calculator. The diagram shows a triangle ABC. Work out the length of the side AB. Just find my calculator. Here it is. Right. Okay. So AB is opposite. We've got a right angle triangle, so we can use SOHCAHTOA. Just playing for time here. Right, got my calculator. Sit back down in the comfy chair. Okay, so we've got, this is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is opposite the right angle. This one, this is opposite our known angle. And this is adjacent. Okay, so if we've got our SOHCAHTOA for right angle triangles, in our problem here, we know the hypotenuse and we want the opposite, and we've got the angle. So we're going to use these ratios here. Okay, and that's because, look, the adjacent, we don't need to know it and we don't know anything about it, so we don't want anything with the A in. We have to choose this one. Okay, and then using the ratio, you've got the sine, we want the opposite. So the opposite, which is the length AB, call that length of AB like that, is sine 65 degrees. Remember the opposite here, we want the opposite, so it's sine of the angle times the hypotenuse times 8.4. Okay, so make sure your calculator's set to degrees. Sine 65 equals times 8.4, 7.6. So three significant figures, 7.61. 7.612985, etc., etc. Three significant figures, 1, 2, 3. This one here is not big enough. Yeah, it keeps it closer to 7.61. Right, Sarah makes and sells mugs. One day she makes 150 mugs. Her total cost for making the mugs is 1,140. Okay, of these mugs, 2/5 are small, 32% are medium, the rest are large. And that's her selling price. And she sells all her mugs. Work out her percentage profit. Lots of marks, hopefully. Yes, 5 marks. Good. So she's got 150 mugs. 2/5 are small. So 2/5 of 150 is 150 divided by 5 times 2, which is 60. Okay, 32% are medium. So 32% of 150 is, now I could do that in my head. I know that it's 48, but if you can't do it in your head and it's a calculator paper, you do 0.32 times 150. The reason why it's 48 is because it's 32 for every 100, so it's 32, and then 16 for the extra 50, so it's 48. But on a calculator, yeah, just type it in. So because it's 32%, you do 0.32 times 50. Right, so the rest are large, so they add up to 118. No, they don't, they add up to 108. And then, so we've got 42 large. Okay, if she sells them all, work out her percentage profit. Okay, so the small, for the small, 60 times £8.50. £510. Okay, for the medium, it's 40 something, 48 times £11.20. £537.60. Your calculator comes up as just 0.6, so remember to put the 0 on there. And then, so the large, 42 times 14.20. 42 times 14.2, £596.40. that's how much she's got back. So she's got back 510 plus 537.6 plus 596.4. She's got back £1,644.0. Percentage profit. So she laid out £1,140 and she's got back £1,644, and it's just the profit. So we do 1,644 minus 1,140, 40. So she's made £504 profit. And to turn that into a percentage, you work it out as a percentage of the initial layout. So it's 504, 1,140 times 100. I think she's done well. 504 divided by 1,140 times 100 equals 44.2 to the nearest whole number. So to the nearest whole number, it's 44% profit. Number 5. Jenny has 6 cards. Each card has a whole number written on it. So the smallest is 5 and the largest is 24. The median is 14. The median is going to be in there. So, and the mode is 8. Okay. And she arranges her cards in order of size. So we need to have for the remaining 4 cards, right on each dotted line, a number that could be on the card. So because they're in order of size, these 8s have to be to the left. We want at least 2. Now we don't want to put another 8 there because then the median can't be 14. So if we're going to go from 8 to 14 to there, look, that's plus 6. So we're going to do plus 6 there. So that has to be 20. Okay. And then anything else? Anything else? I don't think we can put anything we like in there now. Smallest 5, largest 24. Median is 14. So if you look, 8 plus 20, and it's because it's 6, so it's 14 is the middle of the middle pair. So they have to add up to 28 so that they get half to be 14. And the mode of the 6 numbers is 8. Yeah, so we can put anything we like in there. 21. And it's a whole number, so don't put anything like 21.2 or anything like that. Okay, so I've done that one. Right, a basketball team plays 6 games. After playing 5 games, the mean is 21. After playing 6, the mean is 23. Work out the number of points the team scored in its 6th game. Okay. So if 5 games, the mean is 21. So the total for the first 5 games is 5 times 21, which is 105. After 6 games, it's 23 points per game. 6 games, the mean is 23. So the total for the 6 games, don't need to do all this writing on the day, 6 times 23 is 120, 138. Okay, so the last game, so game 6 is 138, take away 105, which is 33. Okay, so I did well that. Just checking my stuff here, checking my 5 times 21, 105, 6 times 23, 138, and the difference is 33. Okay, right, solve the inequality. 5x minus 7 is less than or equals to 2. So the first thing we do is add 7 to each side. 5x is less than or equals to 9. Then we divide by 5. X is less than or equals to 9 over 5. So x x is less than or equals to 1.8. This one, factorise y squared minus 2y minus 35. So we want two numbers that multiply to make minus 35, add to make minus 2. So we'll look at the minus 35, and we've got to think about, because they're going to add to make minus 2, they want a difference of 2. So we could say 35 and 1, but that's not, or we could say that's the only one. It's not going to be 35 and 1. It's going to be 5 and 7. And then because they've got to add to make minus 2, the big one wants to be negative. So it's plus 5 minus 2. So our answer is y plus 5, y minus 7. If you've got y plus 5, y minus 7 is 0. Either y plus 5 is 0, so y is minus 5. Or y minus 7 is 0, so y is 7. Okay. E, that means E for everything. Everything inside the box, could be inside the circles as well. Are those there? Numbers 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A intersection B. That's intersection for me. 5, 10, 15. And they go in there. Yeah. Awesome. And A and B. I say A intersection B as well. Either way, it's got like an N there, which is sort of matches that there. Not in B is 7, 8, 9. So actually, I'm just going to cross these off here as we go along. So we've dealt with the 5, we've dealt with the 10, we've dealt with the 15. So we've got these other ones to place now. Not in B. Right, so I'll do not B, I'm going to underline them here. Not in B, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so what's left must be in B. The ones that are not underlined is 4 and 6. Okay, so the B dash, that means not B, so they must be in B. So I'll cross those off now. And then not in A is 4, well we know that already. 6, we know that already. 7, 8 and 14. So not in, so the ones that are in A are all the ones not overlined, which are 9, 11, 12, 13. 9, 11, 12 and 13. And then any that are not crossed out now go around the outside. 7, 8, 14. So we want all the numbers between 4 and 15 somewhere. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Okay, we're going to check. Intersection, yes. Not in B. 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's correct. And not in A. I'll just circle that for completeness now. Not in A. So here, 4, 6, 7, 8, 14. Right. A is that. B is that. Give your answer. A times B. Give your answer in standard form. So we've got 4.2 times 10 to the minus 24 times 3 times 10 to the 145. 4.2 times 3, 6. 12.6. So that's 3, 12.6 times 10. And then we add these powers. So it's 145 minus 24, 121. Okay, but standard form, this number's got to be between 1 and 10. So it's 1.26. So because we've made this 10 times smaller, we need to make this 10 times bigger. So it's 10 to the power 122. Number 9. The diagram shows the isosceles triangle. This is probably one from the, it is one from the formula sheet at the top. Okay, so it's a triangle, not right angled, so we can't do any SOHCAHTOA or Pythagoras. AB is AC, 17.5 and BC 28, calculate the area. Right, so I'm going to go to the top here, that one there, area of a triangle, there, that's one that we're going to use for this one. So this is, it's a half AB sine C, a half lowercase a, lowercase b sine C. But we've only got the three sides. So we've also got to use the, we've got the three sides. So we've also got to work out, use the cosine rule as well. So that we can, if we've got the three sides here, we can work out an angle. We can rearrange this to get an angle. For the sine rule, we need to have an angle. We haven't actually got any angles else, so it's definitely, because we've got three sides, it's cosine rule. So I know that off by heart, so you'd have to refer back and write that down. And then we can use the area of the triangle. Okay, so the two rules that we need for this triangle question, is it lot marks? 4. Right, anyway. Right, so the cosine rule, so I'm writing them down, you wouldn't need to write it in an exam, is a squared is b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos capital A. And we also need the area of a triangle is a half AB sine C. Okay. Right, so you can also write this as a half BC sine A. And yeah, because as long as it's three different letters there, and I want to match up the A there with the A there. So I'm going to use this one here. Okay, so we'll start with the cosine rule. Start with 1 star, and we've got the so this is A, so that's lowercase a, that's lowercase b, and that's lowercase c, because they match up in an opposite sense here. And I'm going to substitute those values into here and use my calculator to work out this cosine of this angle here. Okay, so we've got 28 squared is 17.5 squared plus c squared, 17.5 again, because they're both the same, minus 2 times 17.5 times 17.5 cos A. Okay, so rearrange this. I'm gonna, well, I'll just work them out a bit because it's a bit too much writing. 28 times 28, 784. 17.5 squared is 306.25. 306.25. And then 2 times 17.5 squared, 612.5 cosine of A. Okay, so what some people do is they'll do this plus this, take away 612.5. Don't. That, they go together, and that is got to be multiplied by cos A, so don't fall into that trap. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just write it out again. So this is 0.5, 612.5 minus 612.5 cos A. So I'll subtract 612.5 from each side for this one. 784 minus 612.5. Gosh. Lost it. 784 minus 612.5. 171.5 is minus 612.5 cos A. Right, so cos A is 171.5 divided by minus 612.5. So divide that there, divide both sides by that there, here. Forget what cos A is. Cancel, come back. Right, divided by minus 161.2.5. And that comes up as minus 0.28. Okay, so now we've got to do A is cos inverse minus 0.28. Okay, if you think about the cosine graph, I'll see what answer this calculator gives me. Cos inverse answer 106. Yeah, it's down here, 106, bigger than 90. You don't need to think about the cosine graph. Calculators have come on from when I was at school. So A, so that's going to be 106.26, etc., degrees. But I'm going to keep it accurate. I'm not going to round off just yet. Because what we've got to do now is the area of the triangle. I'm going to use this form. So it's a half. So I'll move to double star now. Okay, so it's a half. Area of the triangle, half AB, no, half BC, sine A. So it's a half times 17.5 times 17.5 times sine. And I'm going to leave the answer on the calculator, so I'm going to use my answer button. Okay, so 0.5 times 17.5 times 17.5 times sine of answer. 147. Does that feel okay? Yeah. 147 centimetres squared. Yeah, we're dealing with quite big numbers here. And that one, that is wider than 90 degrees. So yeah, it's not drawn accurately, but with this being 28, it's going to make that quite wide. Yeah, it feels fine. Okay, number 10. The straight line has equation 2y plus 7x equals 10. Find the gradient. Well, the gradient is the m once the equation's been rearranged into the form y equals mx plus c. So I've got 2y. I'm going to take the 7x from each side, then divide through by 10. Not divide through by 10, divide through by 2. Okay, and the gradient is the minus 3.5 there. And when the L crosses the y-axis, if you think about the y-axis is here, the y-axis has got x equals 0. Okay, along the x-axis, y is 0. Because on the y-axis, over here, x is positive, over here, x is negative. So along the middle, x is 0. So we've got y is minus 3.5 times 0 plus c. Plus 5 we've already. If you've got it in this form, that is what's called the y-intercept, vertical axis. But yeah, so it's just 5. So it's x is 0, y is 5. Along the x-axis, along the y-axis, x is 0, y is 5. Yeah, that's going down that way. Anyway, there we go. Himori invests 200,000 yen for 3 years in a savings account paying compound interest. The rate of interest is 1.8 for the first year and X% for each of the second year and the third year. And after 3 years, they've got 209,754 yen. Work out X. Okay, so the first year, 200,000 times 1.018. That's going to give you 1.8% interest. 1 means you get all your original 200,000 back. Okay, and then 1% is 0.01, and then that extra 8 tax on the end there. So that is after 1 year, this person's got times 1.018, typing it into my calculator, 200,000 times 1.018, 203,600. Okay, so the next one, 203 times 600 times something, we don't know what it is. Let's call it big X, because little x is the percentage, which is that part, but big X is going to include this one as well. So big X squared. Oh, don't like my bit of an X overload there. I'll just put little x there. Times big X squared is equals to 209,754. Okay, because that's there. So divide both sides by this 203,600. 209,754 divided by answer x squared is 1.0302, etc., etc. Don't round it off. And then x is the square root of the answer on the calculator. Square root ans. And it's come up as 1.015. But also it's got a little bit more here. I'm just going to check because I wasn't expecting that bit. I was expecting that bit only. So we've got 200,000. 200,000, so it's a 2 with 5 zeros, yep, times 1.018%, 203,600, and then it's got, or she, I don't know, name, 209,754, divided by answer, yep, and I've kept it accurate. And then I've got to take the square root of that answer. Yeah, well, it must be my calculator, because, yeah. So the X percent, so the percent of interest is 1.5%, because it's this bit here, and with a, I don't want to put the decimal there. That bit there is a bit like there, that was 1.8%, there it's 1.5. And we round it off to one decimal place, it's definitely 1.5% interest. X is 1.5, because they put the percent up there. Okay, number 12. Table gives information about the times in minutes taken by 80 customers, so they'll add up to 80. To do their shopping in a supermarket. There. So, yeah, complete the cumulative frequency table. Okay, so 0 to 10, that was 7 people. So now we're saying if we go from 0 to 20, rather than 0 to 10 and then 10 to 20, we'd have all these in it. So we add 26. And then we add on the next one, because it's 0 to 30. So 33 plus 24, 57. 57 plus 14, 71. 71 plus 7, 78. And 78 plus 2 is 80. Draw cumulative frequency. Come back. Draw cumulative frequency. Okay, so we've got, what we do is we pick these endpoints, and these are what we plot on our cumulative frequency graph, and the first one is there. So nobody took note there. Next one, 10, 7, 10 across, 7 up. Check the scale. It is one little square is 1 unit, one little square is 1 unit going up, so that's fine. 20, 33. 20, 33, 30, 57, 40, 71, 50, 78, and 60 to 80. Okay, I'm drawing the points with a smooth curve. Like so. Find an estimate for the median time. So for the median, you go halfway up this axis here, which is 40. It's only an estimate because it depends how you draw this line, but mine's going to be down there. Use a ruler, but I'm doing it freehand. Okay, and that is 23 minutes. One of the customers is chosen at random. Use your graph to find an estimate for the probability that the time taken by this customer was more than 42. So 42, sorry, more than 42 minutes. Whoops, 42 minutes you go here. It's 42 minutes. Yeah. So I'm reading up here. I should draw some dots. Oops, it's there. Well, the reason to make sure you do some dots is so the examiner can see that you've done your method. So more than 42 minutes. All these people here, they took more than 42 minutes. And that's 8 people. Because mine's about, oops, mine's coming up at 72 if I'd have done it with a ruler. So that's 8 people and more than 42. Okay, and so it's 8 out of 80, which is 1/10, or 0.1. Expand and simplify. 5x, x plus 2, 3x minus 4. I will start by doing x plus 2 times 3x minus 4. In fact, I'll write it like this. Now I put them like this because some people miss out bits, and this sort of is forcing you to think about the 4 different parts. But if you can do it horizontally, some people do it this way, and that's good as well, as long as you do something that works. Right, so you get 3x squared there, minus 4x there, 6x there, and then that's a 2, isn't it, minus 8. So it's x times 3x, 3x squared, x times minus 4, minus 4x, that's 2 times 3x is 6x, and then 2 times minus 4 is minus 8. And then these simplify, 3x squared, so the first bit, so now this is going to be 5x times 3x squared, that one there, and then the middle bit, 6x minus 4x is 2x, and the last one, minus 8. I used to teach this at a school, and they used to call this the peanut method, because that looks like a peanut. If it helps you remember it, that's good. Okay, so now what we've got to do now is 5x times each of these. So it's 5x times that, 5x times that, 5x times that. So basically all the numbers get multiplied by 5, and then all the x's, the power of x's, go up by 1. So this is going to be 15. 5 times 3 is 15, x times the power of x goes up by 1, and then 10, 5 times 2 is 10, x times x, x squared, and then 5 times 8 is minus 40, and it goes up to an x, because we've got there already, 15x cubed plus 10x squared minus 40x. Okay, expand completely. I feel like I'm rushing, but you can always press pause if you want to, you know. I'm sort of doing it hopefully with enough explanation, but just press pause if you need to. Right, this one, the power there is minus 3 over 4. Right, the minus part, let's deal with that first. That means take the reciprocal, so it's y20 over 16w8, and it's 3 over 4. It's plus 3 over 4, so we've dealt with a negative that way. Okay, so this is now going to be these ones with the letters, the y20 and the w8. y20, you multiply 20 times 3 over quarter would be the new power of y, and 8 times 3/4 is the new power of W. And then we've also got to do 1/16 to the power 3/4 as well. Okay, so I'm going to put that one to one side. I'll come back to that one in a minute. So we'll do 20 times 3/4. It's a calculator paper, so you can do it on your calculator if you want, but I know that's 15. And 8 times 3/4 is 6. Okay. Now, so we've dealt with the letters part there. 1/16. So this is what you can do here. Let's do it's 16 to the 3/4. It's still going to be 1/, but it's 1 to the 3/4 is 1. Okay, so it's going to be 1/16 to the 3/4, y to the 15 to b to the 6. Now when you do this, it's going to be the 4th root of 16. When it's a fraction, the number that's in the denominator, it's that root of 16. Oh, you don't need a calculator actually. You can do 16 to the power 0.75. If it's a non-calculator paper, you do the 4th root of 16, and then you take that answer and you cube it to do that. Or you can do it on your calculator for this one here. The 4th root of 16 is 2, because 2 to the power 4 is 16. 2 cubed, which is 8. So the overall answer is 1/8. We'll put the y on the top, y to the 15 to b to the 6. There we are. Okay, 14. Ica has 2 packets of seeds, A and B. There are 12 seeds in packet A, and 7 of them are sunflower seeds. Not sunflower. 5 out of 12. Okay, 15 in packet B, 8 of them are sunflower seeds. That means 7 are not. 8 are 15, 7 are not. Just going to take a random seed from packet A and a seed from packet B. I'll take at random. Complete the probability tree diagram. Well, I did that as I was going along. They've got to add up to 12. They've got to add up to 15. 7 are for packet A. That means 5 aren't. 8 are for packet B, so 7 aren't. Okay, so the probability of sunflower and sunflower, you multiply down the branches. So it's 7/12 times 8/15. That's going to be 56/180. Calculator will do that for you as well. Half top, half bottom. Divide top and bottom by 4. Divide by 8. Divide top and bottom by 4 is 14/45. Okay. Yeah, don't hold that in your calculator. Just I'm going to quick check of my arithmetic. Yes. Okay. 15. A is inversely proportional to C squared. A is 40 when C is 1.5. Calculate the value of C when A is 1000. Right, so if you've got A is inversely proportional to, it means it's a constant divided by C squared. The other one that you get is directly proportional, which is not in this question. If it was, it'd be A equals constant times C squared. Okay, but we don't need that. It's either divide if it's inverse, it's constant divided by C squared if it's inverse, constant times C squared if it's direct, but we don't need that. So they give you a bit of known information to work out the C. A is 40 when C is 1.5, and then you've got to find out an unknown one. Right, so we substitute this known information in now. 40 is K divided by 1.5 squared. So K is 40 times 1.5 squared. Times 1.5 squared. Did that on my calculator. is 90. Okay, so then we go back. A is 90 over c squared. So this first bit of information there pinpoints the k. Okay, and then you can write A with a k in place. And then if A is 1,000, 90 divided by c squared is 1,000. So I'm going to run out of room. I'm going to go up here now. 90 divided by c squared is 1,000. So we take the reciprocal of the left. C squared over 90 is 1 divided by 1,000. Yeah, take reciprocal. C squared divided by 90. This is 1,000 over 1. So c squared is 90 divided by 1,000. Multiply both sides by 90. You could have done it as multiply up by c squared and then divide through by 1,000. Also gets you the same answer. I got in the reciprocal. That was probably the way that you'd be taught, but I got in the reciprocal because I haven't used it yet now. So there we are. So c is the square root of 9 divided by the square root of 100. Yeah. Is it more than one? There's a lot of marks here. The reason it's 3 over 10. I'm thinking about minus 3 over 10 as well. Value of c when A is 1,000. Value of A when c is 1,000. Or minus 3 over 10. Plus or minus 3 over 10. That's because when you square minus 3 over 10, it's it'll still be 9 over 100. Okay. Yeah. Right, how many questions? 16, 17, 18. Oh, there's loads of them. I'll just keep going. Right. Diagram shows a circle with centre O, 55 degrees. A, B, B, C are points on the circle. So the length of the arc ABC is 5 centimetres. Okay, so if we go from A via, yeah, I don't know why they put the B. Anyway, don't worry about that. That's a bit weird putting that B there. Because you could get away with just saying A to C, but anyway. Right, the length of the arc is 5 centimetres. And the angle is 55, and the area of the circle. Right, so, oops, come back. There we are. Right, so the full circle, and what do we need? The area of the circle, and that one is 5 centimetres from there to there. Okay, so the arc right, 55 over 360. We've got this proportion of the full circle. Okay, so 55 out of 360 times, is that, so this arc, the arc A to C is going to be this proportion of the full circumference, and the circumference is 2 times pi times r. Okay, and that is equals to 5. Right, put all that together again. That bit's 5, and that's 55. The full circle would be 360. So we've got that fraction of the full circumference, which is 2 pi r, and that fraction of the full circumference is 5 centimetres. Okay, so r is 5. Multiply both sides by 360, and then divide by 55 times 2 times pi. Actually, let me do that another way, because let's simplify the left-hand side. And Yeah, give your answer to one decimal place, so we'll need to keep it accurate, this. So on the left-hand side, we've got 110 over 360 pi r is 5. Then we can divide top and bottom by 10. So r is 5 times 36 divided by 11 pi. 5 times 36. So it's 180 divided by 11 pi. So what I've done there, multiply by 36, divide by 11, and divide by pi. Okay, and then the area of the circle is pi times r squared. So it's pi times 180 over 11 pi times by 180 over 11 pi. They cancel, and cancel any top or any bottom. So it's going to be 180 times 180 divided by 11, divided by 11 again, and then divided by pi. And it's 85.23, etc., etc. So it's 85.2 to one decimal place. Right, A and B are two similar vases. That means all the sides and any angles are in, well, the angles are exactly the same. The sides are proportional to each other. So the base here will be, because this is 1.5 times bigger, the height, the base would be. Okay. The difference between the volume of A and B is 1197. Calculate the volume of vase A. Okay. Right. So the scale factor, volume of A. So to go from there to there, we'll call this there's quite a few marks here. We have to divide by 1.5. Okay. And then, so the length scale factor is 1.5. The area scale factor is 1.5 squared. Now we're talking about volume. The volume scale factor is 1.5 cubed. Okay, and we want the volume of A. If we go that way, it's times 1.5 for the multiplying. We want the volume of A, so we'll call that V. So our volume, and if we multiply the volume that we've got here times 1.5 cubed, okay, because to go from the volume of A to the volume of B, the scale factor is 1.5 in one dimension, but volume is 3 dimensions. So it's multiplied by 1.5 cubed. And that is going to be the difference between A and B is 1197. So it's the original volume plus 1197. Okay. Right. So I'm going to do 1.5 cubed on a calculator. And it's 27 over 8. Keep that accurate, I'll use that number. 27V over 8 is V plus 1197. Then I'm going to take away V from each side. And then, so if we do 27 over 8, I could do this in my head, but on the calculator, I've got 27 over 8 because I've just typed that in to get that. So take away 1, 19 over 8V. You can think of this as 1V is 8 over 8V, so you take away 8 from there, but that's all true in your head. So 19 over 8V is 1197, so V is 1197 times 8 divided by 19. The original V, 1197 times 8 divided by 19, 504 cubic centimetres. Okay. Right, number 18. A is W minus X squared over Y. W is 3.45. X is 1.9. Y is 5, and they've all been rounded off. W to 2 dp, X to 1 dp, Y to the nearest number. Work out the lower bound of the value of A. Okay. So the lowest that A could possibly be, we want to start with the smallest possible W, and then we're subtracting something, so we want to subtract the biggest possible number, and that will give us the lowest possible A. Okay, so we want to start low, so W, small as possible, because we want a low A, so we've got to start small. So it corrects 2 decimal places, so we're going to have W to be 3.445, because that's a 5, that's the smallest W can be, and B 3.45. Then because we're subtracting here, we want to subtract something big. So something big, we want a big X and a small Y, so that we want a square as big as possible number and divide by a smallest possible number, so that that overall term, X squared over Y squared, is as big as possible. Okay, so X large as possible. Okay, so X, it's 1.95. Okay, because it's been rounded to 1 decimal place. Now it's a bound, so it's never actually equals to 1.95, but it just gets as close as possible to 1.95. That should be in it. We use 1.95. Students don't like it, but students who don't use 1.95 will get that bit wrong. Okay, so that's what it is. And then Y, correct to the nearest whole number. So that means it's been rounded off, and we want that as small as possible. Okay, so to the nearest whole number, it's going to be 4.5 again. Okay, and then the area is, we want, what's it? Lower bound. Yeah, so W is as small as possible, 3.445. Minus, and we want to take off as much as we can, so we want as big X, 1.95, so I'm just double checking my thinking. Take away a big X to bring it down, and if we divide by a small Y, it makes it even bigger, so it's 4.5. Okay, so on the calculator, 445 minus 1.95 squared divided by 4.5. Okay, and I've got it as 2.6. Okay, next one, solve for simultaneous equations with clear algebraic working. We've got 3x squared plus y squared minus xy is 5. And why is that? So we substitute this y in here. Okay, so when you've got a quadratic simultaneous equation with a linear one, I personally, well, I think everybody would, substitute, and I would put brackets 2x minus 3 for y throughout here. So we're going to show you working, substitute for all that equation 1, equation 2, substitute for y in equation 1. So we've got 3x squared plus brackets 2x minus 3 squared minus x times brackets 2x minus 3 equals 5. Okay, so 2x minus 3 squared, 4x squared minus 6x, I'll go through this, minus 6x again, plus 9, 2x times 2x, 4x squared, 2x times minus 3 minus 6x. Minus 3 times 2x minus 6x. Minus 3 times minus 3 is 9. Okay, so we've got 3x squared. Therefore, that's what that means. 4x squared, there's my peanut there. Minus 12x plus 9. This one you've got to be careful because you've got to do minus x times 2x minus 2x squared. And then you've got to do minus x times minus 3. So you've got to change that sign. So students forget to change that sign. So it's plus 3x equals 5. So simplify. 4x squared minus 2x squared. Look, I've done that one with that one. 2x squared. 3x minus 12x is minus 9x plus 3 minus 6x. Then I've got plus 9. I'm going to take that from each side. So plus 4 equals 0. That's because I don't want that there. I want it over on this side. So I'm going to take the 5 off there. Right, these are all even. So I'll divide through by 2. X squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Going to factorise. We need two numbers that multiply to make plus 2 and add to make minus 3. Well, 2 is 2 and 1. It's plus 2, so it's either plus 2 plus 1 minus 2 minus 1. And because they've got to add to make minus 3, it's going to be x minus 2, x minus 1 is 0. So x is 2 or x is 1. Now we substitute for x in 2. Okay, we say x is 2, y is 2 times 2 minus 3, which is 1. So we get x is 2, y is 1, and then or, next one, x is 1, y is 2 times 1 minus 3, which is minus 1. Okay, there we go. Alright, express 7 plus 12x minus 3x squared in this form here, where a, b, c are integers. Right, okay, thinking. I'm going to say, first of all, 7 plus 12x minus 3x squared. I'm going to take the minus. I'm going to take the whole minus 3 outside a large bracket. Then it's x squared plus 12 divided by minus 3x plus 7 divided by minus 3. Okay, so I've divided each of these terms by minus 3 because I'm going to work on this and then I'm going to multiply throughout at the end by minus 3. Okay, so look, and I've written it with the x squared first rather than the 7 first. So minus 3 times x squared minus 3x squared. Minus 3 times 12 divided by minus 3 is 12x. And minus 3 times 7 over minus 3 is 7. Okay, so now I'm going to say this is minus 3. Well, I'll do another step of that actually. X squared, and that's minus 4x plus 7. Well, let's just put that as minus there. Minus 7 over 3. So I'm going to have x minus 2 squared. Remember completing the square. So it's x, and then it's that same sign and half of that number there. That's completing the square, because if we multiply this out, we'll get x squared minus 4x, which is what we want. Okay, we've also got plus 4, so we need to take that away. If you think about x minus 2, x minus 2, x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. Okay, so I've definitely got the x squared, and I've definitely got, there's my peanut again, and then I've definitely got my minus 4x. Okay, I've got this plus 4, which I don't want, and I also have to take away there. Okay, Right, so this now I'm going to multiply back through by minus 3. Okay, so it's minus 3 x minus 2 squared, and then, oh, low power, speed up, no. Minus 3 times minus 4 is plus 3, plus 12, and then minus 3 times minus 7 over 3 is plus 7. So writing it in the form that we want there, those two, that's going to be the a there, and then it's minus 3 x minus 2 squared. Now students don't like it when it says positives there and there's negatives. It's because they're integers. Integers mean that a, b and c can be positive or negative. Okay, so it is allowed. 19 minus 3 x minus 2 squared. How much have I got to go? I'm worried about my battery. Worried about my battery. 23, 24. Oh, got to get to question 24. Which one am I on? There we go. 20. I can do it. Right, C is the curve of equation. Oh, they're the same. The maximum point. Write down the coordinates of A. Right, the coordinates here, look, it's 1 mark, you just spot them. Okay, the x value is this one here. It's the number that's in there with a change of sign. And then the y value is 19. I could explain all that. The battery's running out and it's only 1 mark. But basically, if you've got it in this form, x is plus 2, which makes this bracket 0. And when that bracket's 0, the y is 19. I will explain it a bit more. Something squared is either 0 or positive. Because we're taking away, we want to take away 0 to get the maximum. We take away 0 when x is 2. And then when x is 2, it's 19. 21. Here's a prism. Yeah. With base, yeah. So it's a prism means it's the same all the way through. If we just cut through a vertical plane all the way through, it'll always have this shape here. Okay. A to B to C to D to E. AB, DE square, equilateral triangle. E to F is 2A to E. Okay, it's got equilateral triangle, square, and that is double that one. M is the midpoint of GF. J to M is vertical. Angle MAJ, M to A to J is Y, and tan Y is T. Find the value of T, giving your answer in that form. Wow, this is a good one. Okay, so we need Y, and Y is angle M to A. I'm going to go for a red pen. Just give myself something to look at here. Okay, and we've already said somewhere JM is vertical. Yes, oh, that shaded it in for me. That's a right angle triangle. Okay, because that here, because JM is vertical, it will meet any line on this base plane at right angles here. Okay, so thinking, what have we got here? We need some lengths, and we need tan Y. Tan Y, M to A to J is Y, so that one there, that's Y degrees. Tan Y, let's go back to blue, just do that in red for my diagram. There it is, grey. Right, tan Y is opposite of Y divided by adjacent of Y. Okay, and that's our soca, and it's the TOA. Tan is opposite over adjacent. Okay, opposite Y, so this is JM divided by AM. So that's what we need to work out, JM and AM. Right, JM first of all. These are, because they're a prism, this is also the square, and so we've got a letter for it. I'll just call this, we'll call that S. Okay, so that's S there, S for side of a square. Okay, so J to M is S plus. Okay, now this is an equilateral triangle in here, so that's also S, and that's 60 degrees, because I want that length there, and that length there is going to be S sine 60 degrees, because that's the hypotenuse. This is a right angled triangle, this is opposite, so it's sine of 60 degrees, and sine of 60 degrees is, and that's one of the ones that you need to remember, sine of 60 degrees is S root 3 over 2. Okay, so on the top there we've got S plus root 3S over 2. That's JM. Now we need AM. We need this length here now. Okay, so that's an S with the side of this triangle, and this is 2S. But when we're in this triangle here, it's actually S over 2, because that M was the midpoint, so it's going to be half an S there. Okay. So A to M, and this is Pythagoras because that's a right angled triangle. So it's the square root of S over 2 squared plus 2S squared. And I think we're away now. What do we need? Root P plus root Q over 17. Okie doke. That's, my S's sometimes look like 5s, so I need to be careful. That's an S. Okay, so this, I'm going to go up here for a bit of room. So on the top, we've got S times 1 plus root 3 over 2, factorised with the S. And then on the bottom, we've got the square root of S squared over 4 plus 4S squared. S squared, 2 squared, 2 squared is 4, and S squared is S squared. Okay. So we've got S over 1 plus root 3 over 2. We've got more space here. Oh, that's good. I'm going to need it, I think. Okay. So underneath this square root sign, we've got S squared, and it's a quarter plus 4. Okay, so I'll go on to the next page now for neatness. So it's S over 1 plus root 3 over 2. And then the square root of S squared is S. Well, I'll write it like this. Square root of S squared. And then it's 4 1/4, which is 17 over 4. Good. Got a 17. I wanted a 17. That there is 17 over 4. Okay. Right, the square root of S squared is actually S. So that one will cancel with that one. Okay. So this is 1 plus root 3 over 2 divided by the square root of 17 over 2. So it's the square root of 17 on the top and the square root of 4, which is 2 on the bottom. And if you remember, if we divide, this is the square root of 17. I've got 7. It's the square root of S squared over 4 plus 4S squared. Yep. Okay, we'll carry on. We'll get it. We'll be able to sort that out anyway. Right, if we divide by a fraction, we turn upside down and multiply. So it's times root 17 over 2. Okay, so this is root 17 over 2, 1 times root 17 over 2 is there, and then it's plus, and then root 3 times root 17 is root 51, and 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. Okay, and then right, we'll write this over a common denominator of 4. So I've got 2 root 17 plus root 51, which is root 3 times root 17. Go up there now. Okay. So it's root 17 times 2 plus root 3 over 4. I haven't quite got it in the form. Tan y is t. Yeah, I think there's I haven't quite got the 17. I've got a square root of 17 in a numerator. Oh dear. Right, let's just go through this again. I'll find my 60 degrees, S, sine 60, S square. Yep, that one's right. E to F is 2A to E, but M is the midpoint and we're working with MAJ. Tan y is opposite over adjacent. Opposite y, we've got an S plus a root, S root 3 over 2. And then here, S over 2 squared plus 2S squared. Square root for Pythagoras. Opposite over adjacent is tan y. Yep. Whoops. Found my mistake. I said it, but I didn't do it. Divide by a fraction, turn upside down and multiply. You've got to turn it upside down. Oh dear. Close that. Sorry about that. Right, I'm going to take all that out. You've got to turn it upside down, people. Okay. How annoying. Right. Okay, so multiply. Let's multiply this through by 2. I wanted a 17 in the denominator. So it's 2 plus root 3 over root 17. Okay, there. 1 times, this is 1 times 2 over root 17 is there. Root 3 over 2 times 2 over root 17 is there. Turn upside down and multiply. Now, it's still, we need a 17 in the denominator. There. So what we can do there, we can multiply top and bottom by root 17. Right, so t is 2 root 17 plus root 51. Does it say the square root of something? Well, 2 root 17. Right, let's go back up here. We can have 2 root 17 plus root 3 times root 17, all divided by 17, hurrah, 17, and a 2 outside the square root is times 4 inside of it. So it's the square root of 68 plus the square root of 51 divided by 17. 5 well-earned marks. Right, I've got a bit of a battery problem. Anyway, we'll see. I've got to get to question 24. Let's just keep going. If I have to stop, I have to stop. Right, the diagram shows OAB. OA is 8A. OB is 6B. And M is on OB such that OMMB is 1 to 2. So that's going to be 2B to 4B. I'll work that out now. Okay, it adds up to 6 in total, and it's 1 to 2. This one's twice as big as that one. N is the midpoint of AB there. P is the intersection of O to N and A to M, yeah. Use a vector method. Find O to P in terms of A and B. Show your method clearly. Okay. So that was, what is this? O, N is the midpoint of A to B. I think that's it. So N, it's going to be, that's going to be half of O to A right, N is a half, and it's going to be O to B minus O to A. Do you remember? Because A to B, you do B minus A. If it's the midpoint, it's half of it. So it's going to be 3B, which is a half of 6B, minus 4A. Okay, so there, that's going to be, this line here is 3B minus 4A. And we need to find O to P. Okay. A to M, O to N. Right, that's O to N is equals to that. A to M is, A to M is the vector that takes us from A to M is O to M minus O to A. So this is 2B minus 8A. Okay. This is 2B minus 8A. So we want O to P. she's going to run out. I'm just thinking about this question, the best way to be.